My new thing now is to explain every joke, but not even in a funny way. Well,
goes without saying, kind of. The whole explaining the joke thing.
Do you think it's? You feel like a big man because you're able to put me down?
No, I feel like shooting fish in a barrel. Actually,
you know, I've shot fish in a barrel, and it's not. I don't get why they say it's so great.
It's easy.
No, you're not. This is not the improv I plan to have with you. No. You know how we say you should agree in improv and on podcasts? What if you go no and then harshly take it in a different direction aggressively? Wouldn't that could be workable? It
is, but it turns it into a one-man show.
Well, here's the problem. I don't think I could ever be a two-man. I think I wasn't a duo and I was horrible. I wouldn't count on me as a dual mountain climbing thing. Like if we were Free for All or Free Sally or Free Willy. Is it Free Willy?
Yeah, they climb a mountain with a whale.
I now know it's Free Solo. But for about 15 seconds, I was trying to shoehorn how Free Willy would work into we've talked about that movie because we both loved it, right? I loved it and I gave it a 7.
What are you talking about? Free Solo?
Free Solo, yeah.
I did not see it.
Oh my God, what's the matter with you? And let me make you feel bad. It's very good. And you know I don't like things.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
I heard it is.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed.
I haven't gotten to it yet. I hear other things are good too.
Is that your, what would you call that? Your annoyed alienist?
Fed up with talking about TV and movies guy.
I'm fed up with it.
But I did actually watch good movies this week.
What did you see?
I watched Born Yesterday, Judy Holliday. Really
that wasn't something we were both supposed to watch, was it?
No, it was on if we wouldn't have abandoned the list, which we should go back to homework for next week.
I think we should go back to it because people have been saying that we're very boring and we need to mix it up.
I think that's true. But that was Judy Holliday, Broderick Crawford, and William Holden. And it was good. Of that era movie, of the comedies of that era, it floats to the top for me.
Floats to the top?
Yeah, just fucking give me a break. This is like a litmus test for how annoying you're going to be tonight.
Hey, can I ask you?
And you're failing.
Let me ask you a question. Guess the joke I'm going to come up with.
No.
Okay. What was the litmus test for the litmus test? Bing, 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 wah, 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 wah. You get the joke, right?
No, I'm waiting for
the litmus test for the litmus test.
Yeah.
In other words, they had to have its own litmus test.
Ah.
That's my new drilling dental comic. Hey, what's up with toothpaste? Did you enjoy the water drill, the power drill? Did you find them all torturous like I did?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We had different speed of drills when I was a kid that made it more torture. He had 3 ways to torture me: the power drill, the water drill, and the power drill, or something.
And the third thing, drill.
I can't talk about it. It hurts so much.
Don't.
It hurts so much.
I did not request a dental visit.
I'll just explain one thing to you. The power drill allowed you to experience pain slower.
Right.
I don't think that's an advantage.
No.
You know, I have to get, you know what I need to do? I need to get over my torture phobia. It's not a phobia. Who wants to get tortured? If you want to get tortured, that would be the phobia.
No, but a phobia is an unreasonable fear.
I have an unreasonable fear of being tortured. Have you heard my act? Wouldn't you want to torture me? It's not going to, it's going to stop soon.
No, what's happening?
It's going to stop soon.
No,
I happen to be doing audition for 60s DJ. Hey, come on down. Use wash and dry. Someone's sniffing at my knees, and I hope it's not you.
No, seriously.
Seriously, what's going on? What if something is going on? You should you should get into a medical mode.
I want to know then.
You should get into a medical mode.
I feel more like a medical mode than a comedy mode.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm thrown off, first of all, by the fact I wake up I don't wake up because I don't go to sleep until the next day. I never have gone to sleep. When was the last time you went to sleep at 11:30, the night before, the actual night of the night before? Like 11:30?
Last night.
Oh,
let's
okay.
say.
That's not a good story.
No.
So I must have been up.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Perush stays up all night or he's setting a clock or he's checking with Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden there seems to be some kind of fumferall about getting the show.
Yeah. Apparently it didn't go up at its stroke of midnight time.
What is it, midnight in every time zone? Is that the idea?
Midnight in our time zone.
Oh. Well, that would be midnight in...
That'd be 3 a.m.
Yeah,
on the
3
East
a.m.,
Coast.
right.
On the East Coast.
Oh, okay. And he's on what coast time? East Coast time? Perush?
Perush is, isn't he Austin? Isn't he Central time?
Yeah, Austin, Central time.
Yeah. So it would have been 2 a.m. his time.
So what was it? Was Alex drunk and forgot to...
I never got a straight answer from him.
Oh, I mean, it's unbelievable. Well, let me tell you something. I had so many people complaining to me.
I know. It was quite a little uproar going on before I woke up.
And then I had some witty banter with you.
You did?
Yeah. You said, for the record, I said, what record? Boom. You didn't recover from that, I'm sure. I didn't even check.
I said the leather-bound one in Perush's apartment.
Okay.
I said actually Perush's vault, I said.
I would like to,
I gave him the benefit of the vault.
Hey, did you see that movie, The Vault is in Our Stars?
No, I saw the Yiddish version.
What's that?
Oiga Vault.
Oh, God, you deliver that with too much panache and desire. So
You're just going to be difficult tonight.
No, I'm not going to be fine.
You're going to be super difficult.
I'm going to be totally fine.
Okay.
So when did it finally hit the streets, as they say?
Everything seemed to have de-glitched by the time I woke up at about 8.
That's good. You didn't wake up in the middle of the night panicking like me.
No, I didn't care.
I was literally panicking. I was like, what if Perush makes a big stink about it? I don't need that.
Yeah. There was like 6 people who cared.
And that's 4 more than normally listen.
Yes.
Okay, I'm tired of my listener jokes. I need a new batch of either ways to make fun of myself, or I need more listeners. One or the other. That's what I say.
You should get a new hobby to do poorly.
A hobby? Now, how is your health?
My health is good. How about yours?
You never asked me how I am.
I know. I have to suss it out.
I thought you'd do the old joke. You never asked me how I am. How are you? Don't ask.
Sorry.
Skibby-dee-ba-dee, skibby-dee-ba-dee-ka. Boom.
Sorry, I didn't have borscht for dinner.
Yeah, my dad would use expressions like borscht.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling it's bad food, right? Or it's cheap food. It's not borscht.
It's cheap food.
But it could be good food.
It depends how you feel about borscht.
I don't like it.
I don't like beet borscht. I like the other kind.
Oh.
The cabbage borscht.
Oh, okay. Well, Mr. Fancy Pants.
But cold soup? Feh.
Well, is that what it is? Cold soup? Borscht?
The beet is.
I don't like that. First of all, that's why there's so much anti-Semitism over there.
Yeah, exactly.
That was pretty funny, Josh. Pretty funny. Can't see why you didn't laugh like a... You know what's bad when I'm expecting to get big laughs?
From me.
From you. That's right. What are you? You're not a laugher.
Not so much.
No.
I mean, I laugh, but it's not.
When it's funny, but not when you're pushed.
You got to hit me.
Nobody likes to be pushed.
No.
Nobody likes this for real. Huh? Not bad, right? Well, I feel good. It feels like I just saw you last week.
We saw each other a lot last week. That's why. We had lunch with Paul Lindbergh, our co-star.
That was a lot of fun.
Horse. It was.
And we talked about, when did we see her? We haven't talked about me having a panic attack there?
No, we talked about it the next time I saw you, subsequently on Friday or Thursday.
Which was for what? Oh.
For that play we went to.
But our people haven't heard about it?
No.
This is this is what people tune in for, is the deterioration of me emotionally and physically. Well, not physically. We had coffee with Paula, and I had stayed up late, and I had a pot cookies, and just ate like there was nothing. I just couldn't stop eating. And I woke up and I felt weird, and I didn't remember that I ate the pot cookies.
And you were weird in the car.
I was weird in the car. How would you describe the weirdness?
Definitely anxious. Definitely. It felt like I was picking you up to take you to morning radio in a different city. It was that kind of anxiety. It's like, where are we going? I'm not, wah. It was sort of that. It was kind of, wah.
Well, it was
uncomfortable Jewish man energy.
Well, thank goodness. Well, I mean, I don't want to make too big deal of it, but the good thing you've been around me when I've been nervous before, because it would be bad if you
as opposed to
not being around me or reacting like, oh my god, what's wrong with you? You could have done that.
No, I meant when you said I've been around you when you were nervous.
Oh, I see what you're saying, and that is a good argument. It's got to be at least 50% if you added it up.
Yeah.
If you talked about the pre-Montreal lunches, those are all mini panic attacks with lunch.
Right.
Do you like your anxiety with a meal or without a meal? That's a tough one sometimes.
Well, in this case, it was a blend of the two. A meal was not a good option for you.
Right, because I had eaten from the pot cookies the night before. And once again, you can start on me on the pot cookies. Why do I have to do them the night before? I just didn't think about it.
Why would I start on you?
You wouldn't. You wouldn't. But I have to have somebody start on me. And it has to be you. Rather than me examining my own behavior,
right.
It has to be me accusing someone of trying to control me.
All right. Buy some non-pot cookies and binge on those.
One or the other, I think. One or the other. So, I felt whatever those words are, logy, those words where you just feel like, I felt weird, but again.
Out of sorts.
Okay. But I didn't connect it because the interesting thing is, because I go to the worst case scenario or the panic scenario, I don't even say to myself, oh, you had this food last night. It's like I prefer to live in the land of, am I dying or what's going on? Right. So as soon as I get there, we start talking about the movie, and just the topic of the movie made me get nervous. Like, oh my God, what if this movie isn't the greatest movie? And what if this ends my career, this movie? And what if I'm blamed? And then I started to feel myself get like, that thing where I have to cough. It kind of goes like, I go like this. Yeah, but even more violent than that. I go, and people say, what's wrong? And I don't know. It's like I want to kind of like throw up. So then I said, excuse me. And then what happened when I said, excuse me at the table?
You got up and left.
And what happened on your end? What did Paula say to you?
Paula said, what's going on? And I said, I think it's a panic situation. I
thought you said, what's happening?
Yeah, I think maybe you said what's happening.
What's happening?
Yeah, but not with any not with a great sense of alarm.
Yeah, because I said, excuse me.
It was clear it was a mental health issue, and I just said, I think it's a panic situation. And sure enough, you went outside and threw up and came back.
I threw up at various places, like a dog, in a way, looking for various places to pee. I didn't want anybody to see it, and I didn't want...
You didn't do all the wind-up of a dog, though, right? Dog does quite a wind-up.
No, but I don't like the whole idea of if I was what kind of dog would I be? Would I be lifting my leg? I don't understand anything about it.
Yeah.
If you're a male dog, you lift your leg, or does it just depend on what kind of dog you are?
Throwing up?
No, to pee. I was going back to pee.
Okay. Yeah, male dog lifts his single leg generally.
And this is universal?
It's highly common. How about that?
And what if the other dog does it the other way? Are they mocked? All right. So then I came back. So I threw up. But it wasn't throwing up like when you're sick. It was throwing up just like, it wasn't terrible. I imagine it wasn't as bad as when you're like drinking too much.
It was the waffles you just ate a second ago.
Yeah. So that was the thing too. I said, I'm really hungry. And then I should have like waffles and I should have a latte. But then it sounded terrible to me. I realized later, when you're feeling sick to your stomach, lattes, waffles, you just want to have a peanut, have a piece of cracker.
Yeah.
Have a cracker.
Yeah.
And so the panic went away, and I did learn valuable lessons that it always involves food and me not eating enough food and me reacting to it. It could be, you've seen me over here.
Well, no, this was you eating too much food. And first pot cookies, too many, and waffles inappropriately.
Right, but if I followed my impulse said you should eat something. I should have ate a cracker. My impulse was, yes, you're not feeling so well, but you need something in your stomach because of your metabolism problems.
Right. Well, I don't think that was wrong.
It wasn't wrong, but it was wrong. The waffle. No, the waffle was wrong.
Well, you weren't identifying the panic to yourself.
No, that's it. And that's the whole thing. When you want to live in this world of, I don't want to live in a world where I take everything as a big thing and don't understand why it's happening. I want to live in the world where, oh, okay, this is happening, pay attention. That's what my therapist said on Thursday was pay attention to your stomach.
Right. That's what we talked about last week, too.
That's right. Yes. And you couldn't have been more nice, except when I said, I got to step outside for a second, you said, yeah, you stand outside for a second. What's happening? What's happening?
I'm sure that is what you heard in your head.
And then should we talk about the other activity?
All right, I'm back from my panic attack. Let me have it.
Then I did.
I know.
Once I did calm down. The thing about these kind of things is, I did feel comfortable around both you and Paula because we had worked together.
We'd been through a pretty high-stress situation together.
Yeah,
We'd seen a lot of each other's range. So
yeah, and she's easy to feel comfortable around.
She is.
And
so it was great. It was great to see her. I hadn't seen her in a long time.
I want to go back to that place too. I don't know. Why do I say that?
This time I'm going to do it. Get back on that latte.
Get back on the horse?
Yes.
It is amazing to me how...
I do like that place. But.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bigger than... And you don't even... The thing about it is not a lot of paparazzi there. You know,
no, but what was funny is as we were meeting Paula, me playing her boyfriend in the movie, one of the people who worked at the restaurant played her son in another movie.
Yeah, that was cool. And we all... it felt like show business was one big family for a second.
Yeah, it did.
And you know it kind of is, except it's a very poor family where nobody can pay their bills.
Highly estranged family.
It's a family that doesn't have health insurance. Believe me, you. I do. And fuck the rest is my new idea.
Yeah.
I'm going the opposite way of Bernie Sanders. I want what's mine, 2020.
Were you on the Majority Report and got beat up or something? I just saw Minority Report traffic in the stream.
No, what happened was I went to see, I had fun. I had an argument with Dissident Peasant.
Yeah.
By the way, the other Mark Thompson, who's not the Mark Thompson you work with.
Son of a Tomp?
He's a great cartoonist. Have you seen his cartoons? I happen to get past my self-involved personality for 13 minutes. And I said, oh, let me see these. And they're hilarious. They're New Yorker. He has New Yorker cartoons. Hilarious.
Excellent.
And he's going to give me a cut. What was I talking about? Please find it back for me. Come on.
Minority Report.
Majority Report. So I went on there, and what happened was I do have some material for next year for our speech, and because I'm starting to figure out what like this guy Ben Shapiro is his right wing. And have you heard the name at least?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. He interviewed Dennis Miller, and I listened to the whole hour and 10 minutes of it. And Dennis Miller's whole thing, why he went, because I've heard a couple interviews, he goes back to the same thing. When Admiral Stockdale was mocked by people in 1992,
really,
that made him say this is bullshit. And then 9/11, but
wow, those are 9 years apart.
Yeah, but the Admiral and first of all, what was about the Admiral Stockdale that would make you? Who mocked him?
Well, he got mocked because he came off like a doddering dork in the
right, but he was a war hero, and
yeah,
he was like, who am I? And,
yeah. But that's the same guy who was going 5 years earlier. Ronald Reagan, my grandpa's 72. We don't give him the remote.
I came out of this thinking that, and not that it's important even, but he is completely soulless, and yet there's something extremely sad about what he's doing. Because he's just doing these, he does like an interview, he does like a podcast where he interviews like people like Julia Sweeney and people, like.
Right, old friends.
And like.
Right, the people who are willing to forgive him.
Or don't know about his horrible side.
How do you not at this point?
Well, you can't, yeah. So.
I'd go on his show.
Listen, schmappa. But anyway, the thing about this Ben Shapiro was like, he was saying that comedy now is no longer being funny. He calls it, you have to get clapped-er. You get clapped-er.
Right.
Because the comics go over by rooting for their team, and then they get, and you have to, and that was Dennis Miller's like, yeah, these cats like Mulaney, they have to do material. Like he was trying to say like Mulaney has to do anti-Trump material to be accepted by the group. You have to do it. The anti-Trump material. You're not a member of the club. Right. I mean, it's like such twisted nonsense.
Yeah.
And this Ben Shapiro guy was arguing about.
I think honestly, if Dennis Miller was working the same targets but had good jokes, I think there's a lot of people who would have a lot of respect for that. Honestly, maybe not ideological respect, but begrudging comedic respect. The problem is he went off the cliff of funny. Right,
and also it's not rational what he's saying because and that's the part of the argument that's like about the Kevin Rooney and that Kevin Rooney was really politically aware and he wrote a lot of the material for a lot of years and
right.
and Dennis really never did he had a lot of things like not giving credit or accused of not giving credit, and so I don't think he was a particularly politically aware person. I think the only thing he brought
either. I think he was being handed those jokes for years.
Yeah, and the only thing he brought to the table, which was very funny, was a Rickles almost like, but snarkier, or just be great. That's great, mate. That whole thing was him.
But but his self-generated material at the peak was not political material. He was on SNL and therefore getting jokes written for him all the time, and then his TV shows the same. But
right, it's so weird because it makes me examine not so much who my heroes were, but I remember loving Dennis Miller, not only loving him, but rooting for his show when it first came out. For some reason, I just thought this guy's the funniest guy.
I loved him for years.
And the black and whites, but I haven't seen these things in a long time.
Right. No, they don't hold up that well.
Yeah, I think you told me you saw it recently.
Well, no, I listened to the Off-White album and did a podcast about it because I was curious.
Is that the black and white thing?
No, it was before. Before black and white. But no, I thought he was in the day. I thought he was great. I've said before. I mean, I think if you could compare my cadence and my writing style to anyone back in that day, I don't know that you get much closer than Dennis Miller. You know?
Well, also people like David Feldman and a lot of people who
I mean, he was an influential figure. Him and Letterman, and they sort of set that cadence, and Seinfeld and a couple others set that cadence for that white guy comedy of the late 80s. You know?
Well, that's the thing. It's so kind of weird now, is because it's become almost. It's sad to see Bill Maher actually like the kind of stuff that he's doing now, but it's I had to say to someone, not had to say to someone, but I had to remind myself he was at one point funnier than he is now. That show I even liked.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself I did like that show at one point,
right.
But his unpleasant. It's like it's hard to remember that time now because of what he's become, which is like a predictable. I don't even know what you call that style of comedy.
Yeah, I don't know. He just seems he's kind of like his own echo chamber, really.
Yeah,
I think he thinks he represents more people than he actually represents in the way he talks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I think for him, the weird thing is he was on HBO, and I remember that there was during that time period when I kind of liked him. There was a feeling that it was cutting edge and that nobody was talking about these issues that much. But I remember from the beginning, a lot of people couldn't stand, even before I didn't like him, just couldn't stand his whole point of view.
I never saw him as particularly cutting edge. I just saw him as, having a talk show where you could say fuck and having good guests.
Well, no, but I mean in the sense that if there's any legitimacy, which I'm not even sure that there is, to the you don't want me to say it, I'm saying most of the people who are terrorists, they come from Iran, so you should what's the word when you profile them?
Okay.
You should profile them. That's the kind of argument he would make.
Right.
An argument that ultimately now, when there's 3 white supremacist things in a week, you can see, even when he was saying it then, even though it could have made sense to people's emotions,
right.
It was still a ridiculous argument. But he would make those kind of arguments. But in the last, he just got tired. I mean, he's in a lot of ways the luckiest man in the world because to keep going in that format with that. But I don't know, that Dennis Miller thing.
I don't know. People age out of their funny too. They just.
Why don't you say it to me directly?
No, I mean, I think if anything, that's one of your. If anything,
if you want to say anything positive, you can say that at least you haven't lost it.
I stopped myself. But one of the things,
at the very least,
you aren't showing signs of.
No, I can't.
Aside from your memory, you aren't showing any signs of decrepitness.
And the thing is, the memory thing kind of looms as like an overriding quality if that takes over.
All right.
People won't care about my tangents if I never get back from the tangent.
It's true.
Hey, come on.
Stop eating pot cookies.
What's that?
Stop eating pot cookies.
Oh my God. I can't even, you're like me. No, I don't know who you're like. I'm supposed to be able to admit to you that I've continue to find ways to lose focus, and you're supposed to support it.
Okay.
You also go, that was exactly what you should have done that night, Andy. I can't believe it. We should have pushed back the coffee a couple of hours. So, I mean, who would know you'd wake up with a hangover from pot cookies? Have you ever gotten that? Well,
you were just still stoned from them.
You think I was still? I felt like, yeah. I felt like weirdly buzzed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not good at meetings or being with people and then we went to another, but we spent so much time. We went to a play together.
We did. I don't want to get into dissecting it because it's a friend of ours, Monica Piper's show.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really
and it was jam-packed with great jokes.
Yes.
And very well performed. It was still a one-person show, which makes it, after a certain point you go, all right, that's enough of this one person.
Well, I started thinking about, for some reason, people, how like I'm obsessed with death, and then what would every comics one-man show be about death? Like, Seinfeld's would be, what's the deal with dying?
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Oh, you never even got into the second?
No, I thought about it earlier tonight.
Dice Clay would be hickory dickory death.
Come on, we got our speech for next year. We got the speech. You'll never remember these things. What's the deal with dying? I watched some of the Grateful Dead movie.
The Grateful Dead movie?
The Grateful Dead doc.
Yeah. Oh, is there a new one? The one about...
Long Strange Trip.
Oh, okay.
It's on Amazon. And first of all, do you have to pay more? Is there a step up that I get it in sync, ladies and gentlemen? Do you have syncing problems?
Not really.
All right, maybe I gotta get a thing. All right, so I saw.
You might need to upgrade your.
It was really great. I didn't realize that they cut it up into. I thought it was like a 5-hour thing, but it is kind of a 5-hour thing. But they've cut it into 51-minute episodes.
Yeah,
and it's just so great. It's so great.
Is it for an Amazon series? Because then I haven't seen it.
It's an Amazon series.
Okay, yeah. So no.
But not like it's coming back next year.
No, I understand. But it was made recently for Amazon.
Exactly. That's what I think.
Okay.
Like, I really want to see the David Crosby one. Looks great.
Yeah.
And have you seen the trailer for that? Because he says, like, nobody he played music with will talk to him at all. Nobody.
Yeah.
And he just says how he alienated everybody. I was the worst lover. I was, it's just so incredibly, but it's so, and they, like they're asking, why do you think you're still alive? I just don't have any idea why I'm still alive, because he's been close to death a lot.
Yeah.
So I want to see that. And the Grateful Dead thing was so weird to me because without getting too boring, I just realized that the whole idea.
Like a Grateful Dead show.
All right. I try to share things with you.
No, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Moving on.
You can't use strategy like that with you, because you'll say, okay, fine. I don't need to hear about the dead. No, please let me tell you my dead experience.
I love your description of a documentary.
Okay, here's the thing. I was a deadhead, and I think I need to go back to it's not like I have to go back and tell everybody, yes, I was a deadhead, but I have to realize to myself how much I really did gain from that experience, because I really was in love with the Grateful Dead. And this kind of documentary shows you why you should be in love with them if you want to be in love with them.
Right.
And they are explaining, and it's not like I'm a genius, like, wow, they're saying exactly what I would say. But what they're saying is exactly how I took the group, which was, they really were having a conversation with each other and with the audience.
Right.
And they had no set list. And they didn't want to have a set list. And when they made their first album, they didn't even want to make an album.
Right.
So they just tried to fuck it up. And then they finally made like American Beauty and Working Instead, which were two great studio albums.
Right.
But they were trying to make a documentary about them around the, I don't remember what year it was, but not too long after Hard Day's Night, so it was like maybe 1967 or something.
Like as the Warlocks? Like that far back?
No, past the Warlocks,
okay.
As the Grateful Dead, but that time when they first signed with Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And it was hilarious to me because the guy would be asking him, like, they're trying to get him to do something for the movie that they're making. They're making some kind of movie,
right.
But the Dead don't know what the movie is or don't want to make the movie. And they're saying, oh, yes, I am fine. Like, is that what you're looking for?
Right.
It was so weird to see all this stuff.
Passive-aggressive assholes.
Passive-aggressive stuff. Yeah, and then, but it was really, really great because the thing is, it's so weird because I struggle with my memory so much. My memory is the thing. And I get so worried on stage, like, oh, well, I take out my notes. And yet the people who I was most influenced by were really people who liked improvisation and liked to not know what they were going to do.
Right.
So it's weird to me that would become my, not biggest fear, biggest challenge. The same thing I'm challenged. And also, it's no doubt that that's why I went towards the kind of comedy I did, was because of what I was influenced by. You know, I can't say the direct influence between the Grateful Dead and stand-up comedy, but
Yeah,
the
it would
approach.
be pretentious.
What's that?
It would be pretentious and wrong if you said that there was a straight line from them to you.
Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. No, I meant to no, I meant it like that there's a, yeah, I think I did mean it pretentiously. No, I just meant it like that influenced me, the type of, it is terrible what I'm saying. It doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
You take it away. Take it away.
What influenced your comedy is what worked, and you did more of it. I think that's what influences almost everyone's comedy the most.
That's true.
Like,
but,
what comes out, what worked, do more of that.
No, but I don't think I ever saw the Dylan and the Dead, that those people would be influence how I would approach comedy. I wouldn't think that.
Right.
You know?
I think you're retrofitting that they did, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I don't think they influenced me. I know what you're saying. I kind of know what you're saying, but I'm not sure if I know what you're saying.
I think they influenced you as a person, and that person did comedy.
Right.
You know, we're all the sum of our input. You know?
But you didn't like the Dead, so you weren't influenced by them.
No, I will not say that my comedy has anything to do with the Grateful
But what
Dead.
I'm saying is,
my brother, big Deadhead.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is this: if you take out the part where it sounds like I'm saying, and then we ended up with the hilarious one-liners of Andy Kindler. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying, like, I never even thought about. I thought I was into music, and then I made a turn into this other thing.
Yeah.
But the same approach and the same problems I had with music and writing and comedy, I was influenced by people who kind of had that same approach.
Yeah.
In a way. And if you take out the pretentious part, it's just I never had seen that before. I just hadn't seen the connection that way.
Yeah.
You know? But Jerry's dead, though, so I don't know if that means anything to you.
It did when it happened.
I know.
I'm over it now.
Well, now all I'm thinking about is that I could be pretentious, so I'm going to try. You bring up something that I don't want to sound pretentious. But anyway, it's
I sound pretentious all the fucking time. So
no, you don't. No, you don't. I'm more I think I lead in the blowhardy category. But the music, the other thing is that they got this footage I'd never seen before, and I also saw the Woodstock American Experience 3-hour thing or hour and a half.
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool. Did you see that?
I think I might have.
Yeah.
I watched I think it was the American Experience Woodstock doc. And
that was great, I thought.
It was. You know, I don't know. I've never had a more strong feeling about Woodstock of, come on, who gives a fuck, really?
Well,
you know, honestly, I sort of still feel that way because it was just a concert that people went to, you know, and the fact, you know, that 50 years later, what we're celebrating is that they didn't fucking kill each other. You know, that was the takeaway. I
think it really maybe is age depending, because this is the thing I was trying to tell you about the other, like, you know, I always think like when I grew up, everybody grew up as a generation that way. But I was really influenced by Woodstock because I was 12. So
yeah, no, and I agree. And I think I was at 12, I thought Woodstock was super cool too. But right, I just feel like I think it's a great stamp on that era. Like it's the perfect encapsulation of the hippie thing going well.
Yeah.
But it has no, aside from rock festivals being commonplace now, it really has no implications on modern society. Like it doesn't, it wasn't a turning point. It was an ending point.
Well, I see what you're saying, but you know, the thing is, I think everything is very subjective. So like to me, that was the year I got bar mitzvahed. That was the year of the moon landing. That was the year, and I remember it more 5 years later when I went to college, and then after college I spent a couple of months around that Woodstock area. So I always felt like I was a couple of years too late for everything, which I think I've talked about before.
Yeah.
I just missed the change of the world. But the thing I think is amazing about it is that, like Max Yasgur and the fact that these people, it's true that these people pitched in and they sent food over there and that they right in the middle of this horrible, where these older people were thinking these kids are fucked up or whatever, but they really weren't. They were just really enjoying their culture.
Right.
You know, I think in that sense it was an amazing thing. I think the problem is that it was just a horrible error in so many ways. I mean, Martin Luther King died, Bobby Kennedy died, but I think Woodstock. And when you watch the documentary about it, where so many horrible things could have happened, like when they had that rain,
right.
it uncovered these power lines,
right.
And if they had touched those power lines that would lay down below the surface, they could have been like massive deaths.
Right.
So I was fascinated with Wavy Gravy, and I think maybe just because I love Ken Kesey.
No, and I think it's a great story about a weekend.
Right.
It doesn't have any parable value, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think what you're saying is it doesn't require a later movie with Dimitri Martin in it. I think that's what you're really saying.
Right.
Because I know you're not saying that, but that to me was symbolic of what is it? It already was a thing. What are you trying to overlay now?
Right.
You never saw that probably, but
no, I didn't.
It was pretty bad.
I just feel like there's not a lot of meat on that bone. You know,
you're talking to the wrong guy though, because I'm just re-examining how much I loved that Crosby, Stills and Nash performance. It was like those were the first things I ever heard.
Right.
Like that was of that style of music. I never heard music before that.
No, and I mean, from a musical perspective, some great things happened. Some great things happened the next weekend too, at various venues around the country.
No, I think what I'm saying is it's a more personal. I think that's what the thing about it is. I just think it's like what you're saying is absolutely
well,
true.
no, everyone has their Woodstock story. Everyone has their where was I, what was I thinking. You know, if you were alive and sentient at that time, yes, it was a big event in history.
When were you born?
I was born in 71.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So obviously it doesn't.
So it's only for people my age.
You know,
and
but Live Aid was a big fucking deal when I was 15. You know.
But you see, I guess it was a big thing.
It was.
Was the first US Festival or
US Festival didn't mean much.
Yeah. Let them know it's Christmas time.
But again, it was just, you know, it was a day.
Well, this one woman said this thing that I really agreed with. For her, she said, for her, she was a resident of that area.
Right.
And she saw everyone pitching in, and I don't remember what her point of view was before the festival, but she said that festival informed the rest of her life.
No, I think for the
people who were there and the people, yeah,
I think for the people who were there, obviously it was a big thing that they'll always remember. You know,
and
I'm sure for some of them it was transformational,
and almost a miracle that it didn't go bad, which is the thing.
It did go bad. It just didn't go horrible.
Well, did anyone die? I don't think.
I think so actually, but yeah, no, there was 400,000 people in one place with undersupplied.
And this guy, Wavy Gravy, I'm telling you, this guy, they hired Wavy Gravy and his hog farm for security.
Yeah.
That's where it's a one-off.
No, it was like I said, as a story, it's great. As an example of the hippie ethos winning over the more base ethos of people.
Yes, because but of course there weren't a lot of black people. I mean, there were some black people there.
And I'm not trying to denigrate it.
I know
so much as I can't. I can't elevate it to this transformative.
Yes.
I don't see a giant butterfly effect from it happening. I think it was like a caterpillar and a butterfly all in one weekend, you know?
Yeah, but how about this though? Just in terms of like, say for
mean, yes, the residents of Woodstock, New York or whatever, New York, Saugerty or whatever the fuck it is.
But the thing is,
yes, they had one expectation.
Yeah.
And then they said, it's just a bunch of kids.
Having fun.
And, we don't want them to starve. We like kids. And having been a parent of teenagers, you get that where you have both scorn and compassion simultaneously for these young people,
I guess the other thing is how
Max Yasgur, very cool dude.
Yeah, he was.
That speech he gave was super cool.
So great. And the other thing is like that, how many of the groups there, I think I was very influenced by the Woodstock film is the thing. Maybe it was one of the first. I think I saw The Last Waltz and I saw Woodstock, but I think I saw Woodstock first. Probably, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the Joe Cocker. I don't think I knew Joe Cocker before that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people got launched that I listened to for years and years but a lot of people I didn't. I didn't listen to 10 years after.
Right.
Or
Richie Havens albums. Not a
although
lot.
Richie Havens,
I love Richie Havens.
Yeah.
I actually did have a Richie Havens album.
Freedom. But then there were a whole bunch of people I've never, Brett Hurtley and Gret Schmeeckley.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I think I did tell you I wanted to maybe buy the album thing, but I don't know. What am I doing?
The every minute of Woodstock.
Why do I want every minute of it?
I don't know.
I was also amazed at how much that it was such an amazing seminal historical event. They had good coverage of it, compared to what they could have had.
Yeah.
They're right up there next to Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
I mean, I know I sound like an idiot, but that wasn't cheap. I'm sure someone put money to film everything.
Yeah,
there.
that's what saved everyone's ass too.
And is that how they made their money?
The album and the movie.
Yeah,
was the only thing.
Because they would have been in big trouble.
Yeah. No, they took a bath on the concert, but congratulations to your generation on the big concert.
Well, what the thing is? I started reading things online that I didn't realize.
There is this generational pride about Woodstock.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, at some point, it's just going to be
look what we did,
Yeah,
and then after comparison to the moon landing, which really was this tremendous accomplishment of everyone's talents pushing this thing forward.
I don't know if you can compare the two, really, because I've heard someone like Neil I guess the way you're saying it reminds me of like a Neil deGrasse Tyson, who says the only good thing that came out of the '60s was the moon landing.
No, I don't think that at all.
To me, the Beatles and all those other things were.
I don't think that at all.
But as an event,
I'm talking about just because they're easy to compare because the 50th anniversaries came 5 weeks apart or whatever, or less, or a month apart.
Yeah,
that it's easy to compare what I feel watching this moon landing stuff, the sense of pride, and there is a certain pride in humanity in the moon landing stuff. Because,
I loved it. I'm a fan
because of the arc of learning involved.
Yeah, and the
whereas here it's like the bar for Woodstock seems so low to me. Like they didn't fucking kill each other.
Well, the scale of death could have been
basically behaved.
The scale of death could have been larger.
Yeah. That's true of the moon landing too.
Well, also, I don't also want to argue that going forward, I want to look at concerts where I'm a small flea looking 25 miles from the stage.
Yeah.
I don't know how I could never have done that. I could not. I would have had to have been on acid, and I would have had. I don't know. I would have had to have.
I tweeted it last week. It's like had I been alive and had tickets to Woodstock, the parking would have stopped me.
You had to be on drugs the whole time.
But I would have been, and it still would have stopped me.
I can only say that I've been at dead concerts like overnight and on acid, and that does put you in a different state where
there's no part of me that wants to tap into a big group. Like I just don't have that department.
Well, you better get ready because when we take off and we go and we take My Favorite Murder and we bypass them.
Right, but that wouldn't be us being part of a group. That would be us in front of a group. That I like.
Oh, I see. You like the masses looking at you.
Yeah,
you don't like to be
that.
one of the masses.
I don't like being part of the masses.
I don't even never even like to go to concerts. Although when I go to things, I'm happy.
I'm not automatically happy just because I went. There are times like I still really feel uncomfortable, like in a club concert, standing in a crowd in front of the stage.
I don't like him.
I feel incredibly claustrophobic and want to lash out.
I think we should say it's like when they did the comedians of comedy.
Claustrophobic is the wrong word. It's not that. It's not
tired. Your legs are tired.
No, I'm just like I'm on a level of alert that I don't like.
Well, I'm saying that it goes beyond that for me. I literally have to sit down.
Yeah, that I'm not so worried about. But
when did you been a champion stander? What's the song I'm doing?
It's the mosquito version of Clang 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 with the trolley.
Those were the lyrics. Those days when they had trolleys and they could write lyrics about them. Those were the days.
Tonight on List of Movies.
And CNN this weekend. Just the Abbott and Costellos meet the movies all weekend long. All weekend long. Monster movies. And then at 10 o'clock, it's strange movies. Novelty movies. Movies that have potions in them. When are they going to run out? CNN presents yesterday at 4:30. Well, I've done this joke before.
Yeah.
CNN presents this morning. Then they show people from this morning.
Right.
Huh? What's next? Huh?
What's next? CNN's going to cover what's happening at this moment?
But that's the thing. They can't do that well. That's why they've gone backwards.
Gotcha.
And that was another edgy Kindler moment.
What was I? That was wheezy.
No, I just got the doctor said that's not good.
That's not good.
I said to the doctor every time I go wee hoo ha ha hoo, it's annoying. And he said, "Don't go hoo hoo ha ha hoo."
I had a very rugged weekend.
That means like a camping trip?
Almost.
What'd you do?
So on Friday afternoon, I was at some meeting and my neighbor calls. And apparently, like, a branch from my tree out front had come down. So she was alerting me to that.
Okay. Like which side? It doesn't matter.
Like on that side of the house towards the neighbor. And it had come down, some on and in their
property.
Yeah, the house. It was a big ass branch. It was like, had it been just planted into the ground, you would have said, "Oh, that's a good sized tree."
So here's why I could never own a house like that. Because she said, "What if someone got killed by that?"
Well, no one did.
Okay, good.
I looked. There was no bodies underneath.
You looked too. You looked carefully.
Yes, everyone did a roll call at their house. All president accounted for. But nonetheless, she wanted the tree moved out. She wasn't being bitchy or urgent about it, but she was. Yeah.
Is it a tree or is it a big? The whole tree.
It was a big branch. No, just the branch that had fallen, but it was a giant branch. Like it couldn't be moved
By you and me.
Right. So I went and bought a chainsaw.
Oh my God!
And
you're lying, right?
I am not.
You're such a liar.
I am not.
There's no way you were operating a chainsaw. What are you, a maniac or a moron? A moroniac?
I'm a man, baby. And
how thick was the thickest part of the thing you were? Like you could walk through yourself?
No, I mean it was like no, smaller arms.
Wow. And then
because I just had to cut branches off of it, both to maneuver it out and to make it light enough to move.
Now, why wouldn't you call? Here's what I would do. I'm a Jew. I call someone. As soon as I see it, I call. Who do I call?
Right. And that was my first instinct. And in fact, she was like, when you call the people, tell them, okay.
That's the way she talks?
Yeah.
First of all, can you tell us the meeting? Or I love the fact you were at a meeting. You didn't tell me you were having meetings.
It was movie related, documentary.
Okay, I love it.
So I bought a chainsaw. I assembled the chainsaw. I oiled the chainsaw.
Wait a second.
And then I operated the chainsaw.
Why would
I hacked apart the tree? I pulled it out of where it was. There's still a pile of shit in my front yard.
How about her front yard?
Her front yard, clean as a whistle. And it was terrifying it was the most terrifying thing was just that I assembled it. Like I put the chain on the bar and stuff.
Well, you have to put it together like an IKEA thing?
Kind of. You have to put the bar and the chain together and then you have to put oil in it.
Have you ever operated anything like it before?
Yeah.
I have not.
Not for 30 years plus my haunted house job where I had the chainsaw.
But that was a fake chainsaw.
It was a real chainsaw but no chain in it. It was a chainsaw very similar to the one I purchased, in fact.
Wow. How much are they?
This one was like under $200. It's an electric chainsaw. And,
electric, and the oil, doesn't it like fly all over the place?
It kind of flies out a little bit, but
that's disgusting.
Away from you. It flies out away from you.
Towards the lady?
Towards the pretty lady in the white dress. Sorry, pretty lady.
Now what are you going to do? Call someone?
Now I'm going to, my gardener comes tomorrow. I'll see if he wants the hauling job. If not, I'll call someone to haul it away.
Well, how much? Is there a lot of hauling?
There's a fair amount of hauling, and there's some more sawing. Like, there's some trunk was too big for my little chainsaw.
That's what I said to my wife on my wedding night.
And
where is that? What's such? I don't even know where this huge tree is. I don't know anything about your property now. Can't imagine one thing on the property.
Because you always come in the dark.
Well, you like to come with the lights on? Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. Gobbly. That wasn't funny? Come in the dark? You like to come in the light?
It was, not
Reasonable.
funny enough to go back for and
And analyze it.
no. Here on Joke Week,
By the
we're
way-
talking about Andy Kindler's Come in the Dark joke.
Coming up on Dice. Tearing it apart till it no longer means anything.
Right.
By the way, thank you for the coffee, and it's excellent coffee again because
Thank
it's
you.
dark roast,
Same coffee.
but it has cream in it.
Yes. And then yesterday I smoked a brisket. I'm telling you, I'm a rugged guy.
You sound very creepy because you sound like a serial killer. Now.
You think?
Yeah.
Which part?
Well, the brisket.
Yeah.
It's brisket made out of my cousin. I gotta stop watching true crime.
Yeah.
I'm getting a nord. Is it a nord to it or a nerd to it?
Inured.
And I had so were you successful with the brisket?
I was very successful.
Why do you have so much? I want to know one thing. Why do you have so much free time with all these meetings you have?
It was a Sunday. I smoked a brisket. I started early too.
How high did you get?
Huh?
Get it? Smoked a brisket.
Oh my God, you are so
Stupid,
irritating.
idiot, moron.
Irritating,
What
yes.
kind of meat do you use? Oh, I love the way you think it's you first discovered it. You know what? You're annoying. Have you ever thought about that? I have not. You saying I'm annoying?
Well, I was going to go farther.
Yeah.
But I realized we had another hour.
I'm just giving you a heads up that
I was about to go down Night Ender Row.
I have to tell you that I'm going to go shopping after. I'm going to the supermarket tonight. Big night for me.
Really?
And I'm going to probably have to
Pick up a couple stories while you're there.
Oh, my heart.
So the brisket was very good. I was very proud of that.
Okay, now
Much better than the first one.
Okay, now the thing, are you stopping with, because a lot of times when you make these things,
Yeah.
they're tasty, they're good,
Yeah.
but sometimes you have a tendency to have a heavy hand and you make a little, I don't know, spicy. Because I asked you last time you gave it to me, go, oh yeah, I was worried about the cayenne hot pepper tamales I put in there. Yeah, I shouldn't have used the hot sauce with the skull and crossbones and someone's bleeding tongue. Maybe.
Is there a question here?
Question. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, hello. We're here for the entire hour with Vladimir Putin. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, hello, what's your question? What's your question for Vladimir Putin? What's your question? Sir, what's your question?
It's like waiting for a baby to cry itself out.
Let's go to the phones. No, I was just joking about that. I have a lot more stories in me.
Yeah, okay.
I got the music in me. By the way, we have made a rule here on Thought Spiral not to talk too much about politics. But I just wanted to let you know that on the way into the podcast tonight,
Yeah.
there was an announcement, the breaking news, it's curtains. That's it. We can't go on like this. We have surrendered as a country.
Yes.
No one's willing to take us over. This is really edgy, Will Durst-like, hard-hitting political. So that's not an example of roughing it. I thought you meant you went and you took the kids to a shooting range, or you went on a day hike.
No, just chainsaws and smoking meat.
Now,
Come on.
Didn't Allison or someone say, should you be, these are like classic stories. Did you hear what happened to Josh?
She egged me out and then pulled back.
Is that true?
Yeah.
This doesn't sound like a good role at all.
Yeah. She was, at first I was like, I'm going to go get a chainsaw. She's like, really? I said, yeah, I'm a little worried. It's dangerous. She goes, all the fun things are. And then when I actually did follow through, she was like, are you sure you're going to be? I said, okay, if it seems dangerous, I'll stop.
Do you know, this is a true
I
story.
bought safety goggles.
Oh, okay. You did?
I did.
Well, of course. What are you not expecting to do? Why don't you go on a motorcycle and ride on your head?
But I went with the theory that has gotten me through so much of life, which is, idiots do this. You can handle it.
Well, interestingly enough, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I don't know if you saw that movie, but the first time he killed was because his wife was bothering him. he had bought a chainsaw to chop up a tree, and she was hectoring him. And finally, that's how I can't take the nagging. Texas Chainsaw 1. Texas Chainsaw 2. Now listen, Alice. I bought this chainsaw. Look, I am so sick and tired of you not helping me.
Where was my on-ramp?
You sound like an Elizabethan actor. If you would like me to parry with you, Andy, you must give me my entree. 65 degrees downtown Los Angeles. It's the Thought Spiral show. Coming up after the break, we have so many great questions.
Do you have any fresh tape?
I haven't even done a show, but you want me to make a... Didn't I have a good show somewhere?
I don't know.
I was up in...
the law of averages says yes.
Oh, that's not nice. That I don't like. That's the kind of comedy I don't like. I should have brought a song is what I should have done, but I haven't done anything.
All right. Well, we're screwed.
What do you want to do?
Here's something from the past.
Ooh, it's surprising.
Good headline should tell you what happened. It should make you want to read more, and it shouldn't trick you. You know, I saw a perfect headline not long ago. Man survives samurai sword attack from girlfriend. It's perfect. You want to hear more, don't you? You hear that? It was amazing. This guy was like this kung fu fan, is what I read in the article. Big fan, loved every kung fu movie, kung fu magazines. He did it himself some. And I don't know his girlfriend's hobbies, except for going through his phone. Because she did this and found Tinder on his phone and decided he was cheating. And she did what, most women would do. She went out and bought a samurai sword. I'm rethinking what I said about don't go to bed angry here. Because she taped the samurai sword to the side of her bed and waited for her boyfriend to fall asleep. Then she went samurai. She took the sword and just started hacking on him. And she didn't cheap out on the sword because it was doing some serious damage. She was cutting gashes all over his body. His foot was apparently hanging by a thread. And yet somehow he was able to make it to his other foot, the usable one, and using the Wing Chun close quarter fighting technique he had learned from movies, he was able to subdue his girlfriend. Even got her to call 911. And the police come, the ambulance comes, she goes to jail, he's off to the hospital. And I saw an interview with him about a few days later, and the newspaper said, despite being heavily bandaged and in a wheelchair, he was in a buoyant mood. He was in a buoyant mood, and because he said this, sure, I'm happy to be alive, but I'm just glad I won the fight. I've been preparing for this moment my entire life. So first thought, of course, is, what a psycho. And my second thought, being who I am, was, I'm not prepared for that moment at all. I'm not prepared for that. I don't know the Wing Chun technique. I know the Wang Chung technique, but that's just, everybody have fun tonight. That's not a great move in a fight. I'm not prepared for violence. I'm really not. I don't own a gun. Apparently, I'm not allowed to own a gun because I used to have a medical marijuana license, which was cured by legal marijuana. But apparently, it left on my record, and apparently, in a gun background check, that'll screw you up. I didn't follow up on this. I was too stoned, but apparently, that's the case. And it's a trade I'm willing to make, quite honestly. When I think back at my life, the amount of time I've spent worrying about someone breaking into my house pales in comparison to the amount of time I've spent worrying about running out of pot. I've thought about getting a handgun to protect my house. I don't think I would do well with it. I don't know that I would necessarily defend my house. I think so much has to go right. First of all, I have a 2-story house, bedrooms on the second floor. It would have to be a pretty amateurish burglar for me to hear them come in over my wife. And then, have enough time to get my gun out of the thing and take my position, honey, get in in the closet, That's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is I'm just going to wake up with my gun in my mouth, my brains on my pillow. But it's 100% machine washable, so...
And we're back. We
have no momentum. Let's just go straight to questions.
We have nothing to do, right?
Huh?
Because we had such a great first hour.
Exactly.
I'm very proud of
You
it.
have shopping to do.
People rely on hearing this podcast like it's oxygen for them.
Monday morning oxygen.
Don't use it in place of oxygen. I just want to let people know that.
I'm so sorry you were awake for all that panic. Alex owes you.
Should I say something pretentious again?
Sure.
That my comedy is like a Grateful Dead jam. My comedy is like the drum solos from the Grateful Dead jams. Long, boring. Everyone does Trump the same way. Ho, bo, ho, ho, ho. Better than that.
Was that it? That sounded more like everyone's Kennedy to me.
Well, no, Colbert goes,
Colbert thinks his Trump is way better than it is.
Yeah, that's true. Colbert sometimes is very pleased with himself.
He really is. Sometimes it's warranted.
Yes, because he's very funny.
Stephen Elton Yates says, I've worn out my copy of James Mason and Dr. Joseph Mengele doing the old Who's on First routine. Wow. Can you guys help me?
Why did he wear it out? He had it on vinyl?
Well, Dr. Mengele, it seems we have quite a team this year here in St. Louis. With their silly names, I see that at first base there's a gentleman named Who.
Is that a Chinese name?
Why, I'm not certain. Let's move on. At second base we have a gentleman named What.
What?
Correct.
Is that a Jewish name?
I think you're I think you're focused on the wrong thing here, Dr. Mengele.
Well, let's go around the horn then.
I don't know about that.
Third base. Bah, ha, 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 ha.
You really... Oh, my God, that was great.
Thank you very much.
Bobby. Doesn't Bobby always make an appearance at one point?
Only when you chime in.
And it's a double switch.
I'm saving it because I figure there'll probably be another Mengele request.
True. Bobby.
Stephen Elton Yates, again, has another request. Another improv sketch. He says, I've also heard there's a version of It's a Wonderful Life where the My Pillow guy plays all the parts. Can this be true?
How about this? How would you suggest something where I have a role? Or at least I go,
You're
hello.
crazy and you're driving me crazy too. You don't get a role. You once called me a warp-frustrated old man. Well, what are you but a warp-frustrated young man? Miserable little clerk crawling in here on your hands and knees with nothing but a $500 life insurance policy. You're worth more dead than alive.
I think that's a good idea.
Merry Christmas, you old building and loan. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter. Merry Christmas to you, too, in jail. Ho, ho, ha.
I don't think we've lost any of the energy of the original,
No, I don't think so.
the original bits.
And then as the end to Stephen Yates' trifecta, finally a belated congrats to you both for the writing/delivery of the SOTI address. I laughed, I cried, I nearly plotzed.
I'm so happy. It seems unbelievable that it's still over.
GW1972 says, Andy, listening to Test Show 119, want to let you know that you're talking about anxiety. It helped me get help for mine this summer. Everything has improved exponentially. Family's happier. Thanks, or a funnier expression of gratitude.
That is so cool. And that's so good. And you know, like sometimes it sounds like a trite or a cliche or whatever, but the idea that I didn't know that there were so many people who had anxiety. I just never knew it. And a lot of people don't talk about it.
Right.
So it definitely makes you feel like you're not alone.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
It makes it feel like this is worth two pieces of shit rubbed together.
Wait a second. Oh, my God. And the next day, Josh killed himself. Whatever happened to that podcast I did, Thought Spiral? It ended up with Dagger Spiral into his chest.
Tweepahara says, just saw a guy here in Austin wearing a tight pink dress, shaved head, and pearl necklace, dancing in the 102-degree heat. I thought, there but for the grace of therapy goes me and Andy.
I love the image.
I don't know. That guy seems happy, as opposed to...
I don't see a problem.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with that.
Tweet also says, man, the delay drop on Test Show 119 was really rough on us. Had to talk Perush off a ledge.
I think Perush was actually upset. He told me that he had to take some Ativan.
Yeah.
What could have happened? Alex was
I think he might
overslept.
have just forgot to...
Alex,
to
right?
Post it. Yeah, Alex.
So he has to actually post it at the expected time?
No, but he does his thing. Then he sends it to me. I do the intro. I send that to him on Sunday, and then he uploads it.
Oh,
And
wow.
I think he forgot that final step. He's tired. He's working very hard, our young Alex.
Well, he's also in New York. No, he's out here now,
he's
so he should
here,
be able to
yeah.
do it. Oh, how was your lunch with him?
We didn't have it because I was chainsawing. I had to deal with the brand. Oh, my God. Mark Thompson, aforementioned.
Hey, Mark Thompson. I already brought Mark Thompson up.
Andy, Josh, what subjects do you know the most useless trivia about? I know a lot of Beatles shit. That's pretty useless.
I think I don't have any...
Coffee.
Yeah. The coffee would be the closest I come to it, where I'm almost annoying. Oh, you think I am annoying?
I think you're past
Take away almost.
over the threshold.
Excuse me. Are those single-sauced beans? Is that a bleach filter? Sorry.
Terry Caulfield says, howdy, boys. I'm having jambalaya for dinner tonight. On the Kindler scale of spiciness, it's about a 2.
That's true, but it can be a lot more...
You can go a lot spicier than that.
Yeah, well, how spicy is it?
Sometimes we'll go up to a 9.
Well, is that what you would say the jambalaya is currently?
The current jambalaya is just regular jambalaya.
So
That's about a 5.
Well, how about the etouffee?
That's why it's a regular. Etouffee is way down there.
Wait.
Not too many Scoville units in the etouffee.
Huh?
No.
Oh.
Clay pigeons.
I haven't heard from Clay Pigeons, have we? I love that name.
Before you start charging on Cameo, could you wish fellow listener Thrifty DJ a happy B-Day next week? I'm glad he was born to fulfill his destiny, which was introducing me to your podcast. Thanks, guys. And yeah, Josh, I am Clay Pigeons killed me. Had to borrow.
What?
I don't remember what I did with the name last time.
Okay, so what should we wish him?
We're wishing Thrifty DJ happy birthday.
Hey, Thrifty DJ.
Thanks for bringing Clay Pigeons into our life.
Oh, is it from both of us?
Yeah.
Hey, okay. Oh, we already did it?
Jump in, Cameo boy.
Hey, is it DJ?
Thrifty DJ.
Hey, Thrifty DJ, happy birthday. What do you have to say about that, Josh? And thank you for bringing Clay Pigeons into our life. Right, Josh?
Right,
Stay out of
Andy.
school. Stay out of school. Stay in drugs.
Is it spicy?
Cameo. Here's what I'm doing cameos. Cameo. $2. Yours truly, Cameo.
I wrote you a new joke today.
What's that?
I watched like 10 minutes of the new Adam Sandler movie, or as I like to call it, an Adam Sandler marathon.
Can I use that?
Yeah.
But am I going to remember it?
You can.
You read the next thing while I do that.
I typed it earlier, so I can
Oh,
send
okay.
it to
But you never remember anything. An Adam Sandler marathon. Which one was it? Was it the one with him in the thing?
No, it was fictional. I made it up for the joke.
Oh. He's not going to use me for his future movies.
I know.
And I won't have the same close relationship with Judd.
Dan March says, how about a test episode with Josh and Andy walking Lucky and Clyde around the neighborhood and discussing whatever that springs to mind?
I don't mind that one.
Leave it up to Dan March to make us want to take a walk.
Well, then we have to film ourselves or just tape ourselves?
I think it would just be an audio thing.
You're already considering it.
No, I'm not.
Well, I have said, let's run and gun, baby. Let's take this out to like the Orange County. Why don't we take this out and do like a Yule Hauser kind of a thing in the field? Now we're from Thought Spiral. Now, who are you? What are you doing here? You having a picnic?
No one's picnicking in my neighborhood.
Well, you live on...
No one's in their yard. Everyone's behind a gate.
It's a gated community. Spelled Gay.
Whoa!
I'm going.
A gay Ted community.
Oh, have you heard my gay TED Talks?
Have you met gay Ted?
Gay TED Talks. Hello.
Wow.
Oh, wow. The old.
Terry Caulfield's part 2 said, also, whilst eating said jambalaya, I saw Andy's favorite commercial, the Ameritrade guy giving his dumb advice and making a cappuccino. The next commercial made it all better. The Chantix turkey in a wetsuit on a paddleboard.
The worst series of commercials that I've ever... I mean, they're always bad, but the emu and his partner selling Liberty Mutual are just particularly horrific.
Yeah.
I don't even understand what the premise is. The premise is he has an emu?
Well, it's Limu, the emu. Liberty Mutual, Limu.
Oh, his...
That's why they came up with it.
Those people should not have... They should not be allowed to give out insurance. Liberty, 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 Liberty.
This has been Commercial Corner with
And
Terry Caulfield and Andy Kindler.
I don't buy TV.
This
It's the
is
commercial.
J. Elvis Weinstein not associating himself.
Hey, what's up with these no frill airlines?
Michelle Weiscarver says...
Hi, Michelle Weiscarver.
The delay of Test Show 119 was worth the wait, gentlemen. When Josh let loose with his "My mom has Parkinson's" and Andy almost laughed himself into a hernia, I was on the floor.
I'm laughing at the memory.
My mom has Parkinson's.
My mama has Parkinson's. Excuse me, you're a religious bigot. You're a religious bigot. You know, and on top of that, my mama has Parkinson's.
You're a bigot. My mother has Parkinson's.
I'm on top of the world, Ma. Well, thank you, Michelle Weiscarver. And as one wise carver said to the other wise carver, pass the carving knife. And that's your cameo, Michelle. Take it away.
Is it spicy?
Cameo.
Mad City Architect says, Josh, I am going to the Great Minnesota Get-Together, a.k.a. the Minnesota State Fair.
Beautiful.
For those of you not in the know.
Do you call it that too?
This coming weekend, any insider tips or fond memories? Many fond memories. Many.
Where is it take place? At the same place all the time?
Takes place at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds, which is in St. Paul.
Oh, but not too far out of
on
town?
Snelling Avenue.
Ooh.
When I lived with Joel Hodgson, we lived directly across the street from the Minnesota State Fairgrounds, and he'd actually sell his yard for parking.
Oh, my God. That's exciting times.
But I went there virtually every year with my family growing up, and we just ate our way through this place.
Did you remember it fondly?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun.
Nothing but fondly, really.
That's cool.
So you got to eat a Pronto Pup. You got to eat a foot long in honor of my father.
Is that what he loved?
He would always go for. He would at least have a couple 3 feet of hot dogs while he was there.
Are they really a foot long?
The Tom Thumb donuts were very important to us. The Sunny Honey ice cream cone was a big stop always. The Buffalo Burgers in the Frontier Village, because my mom's next door neighbors from when she was growing up ran the Buffalo Burger stand.
I can't even believe that. I didn't know people had Buffalo burgers then.
Oh, yeah. This was the 70s.
Buffalo good?
Yeah, it's just lean. It's like very lean beef, kind of. So it's dry, but tasty.
Do we have enough buffaloes to still have it now?
We do now. It's sustainable.
And that's because of Ted Turner?
Sure.
And also, are there any rides there or no rides?
There were rides there. That was never a big part of it for me. We would do, usually there was a giant slide I would always do where they give you like a burlap mat to ride down it.
Is it like a water slide?
No, a giant.
Oh, I
like
see.
a giant metal slide.
Was that scary or fun?
It was fun. Always fun. There was sky rides where you go across the fair in these little gondolas.
Oh, cool.
And there was trying to think of we went through all the barns. There's huge amounts of livestock there because it's a state fair.
What do you mean you went through the barns?
Like you walk through the barns and look at the various
animals.
Yeah.
I guess it's slow in Minnesota.
It's a state fair. It's true in New York too.
Do we have a New York State Fair?
You do,
but we never went to it because we were too hip.
Because you're
from Queens. Jews. We had the Jews State Fair.
But yeah, no, it was a very annual thing, and I also remember it. It would close. Labor Day was the last day of it always, And many times we went on Labor Day, and then the next day school started always.
Was that depressing?
Yeah, there was that coming home from the fair. You had that realization, like, it's time.
Did you hate? I hated going back to school.
Summer is fucking over.
I hated it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh man, did you have cotton candy there, or that was more?
Yeah, I mean, occasionally. That wasn't like there's so many things that are fair specific that if, you didn't go for things you could get elsewhere. But
did you ever have Mrs. Wagner pies and you walked off to look for a man?
no,
Okay, just asking.
I did have a cigarette from my raincoat once, though.
Wow. Did you make out with ladies there?
At the state fair?
I don't know. Why you wouldn't go there as a date?
No,
it's kids.
I think I actually did go as a date once.
How
didn't
young
make
were
out.
you when you first went? Is it something that the kids from like 7 or 8
from
do?
earliest memories.
That's great.
It's million plus people go there over the course of 10 days.
What can I say? I've been to 2 World's Fairs. What do you want from me?
I've been to no World's Fair.
Well, look, I've seen it all. What
Much
do you
as
want?
I wanted to go to Knoxville.
When was that? For the 1961
I
exposition?
think it was like 84, maybe.
Oh, that's a terrible place.
With the Sun
Ugh.
Dome or whatever.
Oh, that can't have been a good
Knoxville,
year.
Tennessee World's Fair.
That's got to be a mistake. There must have been like a one-off. Someone canceled. Welcome to Knoxville, Tennessee for the Southern World's Fair.
So you went to the one at Flushing Meadows?
Yes, 1963 or is 1964.
Yeah, but you were very young for that, right?
Well, that's the thing. It's
You were
amazing.
like 8, right?
I was 8, and I actually remember running into Harvey Kurtzman, who was my father's friend who wrote Mad Magazine. I remember running into him. So, like, what were the odds that we run into somebody that my dad knew? Small?
What are
you saying?
I'm saying it's not
a lie.
It's not like you were in a different city.
Yeah, but it's a World's Fair. Everyone in the world was there. What are the odds that we could see someone look?
Everyone's there. That's how you're going to see.
Yeah, but it's synchronicity.
Yeah.
And so when I first went to Disneyland, I was a big snob. Oh, I've been to these before. I went to Expo 68, 67, or whatever the hell year it was.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with me, and I hope they find it. Wasn't there a Spokane World's Fair, too? Yeah.
Oh.
If you know what would be fun, if your listeners write in and you say what your favorite World's Fair was, we'll read it on the air.
I prefer the Chicago Exposition of Art 4.
I'll never forget it.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto. Yamamoto.
Andy, you're at the top of your game on the recent Majority Report appearance. For doubters, it's a reverse Biden. That said, I'm taking some credit for priming the pump on those self-deprecating public option jokes by making fun of you here.
I had a good time there because I was wondering, first of all, I was happy when they asked me to go on, but then I thought, are they going to ask me about Dissident Peasant? And they didn't.
That's good. Also, from Yoshi, Andy, is Lucinda Williams the first person you're friendly with to have their own popular weed strain? Unless you were hanging out with Jack Herrera in the 90s.
I didn't know she had her own weed strain.
Nor did I.
That's pretty cool.
Sure.
I don't even think she smokes pot, though. Oh, it doesn't matter these days.
I bet she does.
Hey, Dave. Dave. Is Dave there? Dave isn't here.
Dave doesn't happen to be. Can I take a message?
No, but aren't you Dave? I'm Dave.
Can I tell you who is here?
No, Dave.
What?
The world's worst pot humorists.
Dave's not here, man. But I'm Dave. Dave's not here, man. But I'm Dave. Dude, it's Dave. Dave's not here, man.
Dear Thought Spiral, I would like to see Jesus as James Mason and Barabbas as Gregory Peck. And they're about to kill Jesus. Please do that for me.
Chris says, not exactly sure what you guys were going for with this thing, but what shines through is the enduring friendship between you guys, subtly making me a better friend.
Oh, that is very cool.
Hashtag good stuff.
Thank you. I don't think
Chris?
we knew what we were going with here.
No, we're still not positive. Thus the test show.
That's right. That's the test show. And a lot of people say the test show premise is tired, but I say it's really tired.
Heath says they said this problematic boomer couldn't dunk on Dennis Miller. They were wrong. Everyone needs to go see Andy's Mr. appearance after the drama. Andy's MR appearance after the drama.
It's a majority report. And what happened was I went into the...
He came in like a goddamn conquering hero. Way to show him up with love from a Bernie bot.
No, I went into the chat room beforehand, and that's always illustrative.
Yeah.
I said, hi, I'm here, and someone referred to me as a problematic boomer.
Ah.
Are you not a boomer, though, right? I'm a boomer.
No, I'm a Gen X.
But I'm a boomer.
You're a boomer.
That's sad. Am I at the end of the boomer chain? Maybe I should read a book.
You're kind of mid-boomer.
Problematic boomer.
Amelia Fox says many comedians release one special/album a year as if it's a requirement. This often results in typically stellar comedians releasing less than stellar content. Would you guys ever release content that you're not proud of just for the paycheck?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't release it for any reason.
That's not funny. You know, my father died when I tried to tell him again that I hadn't released the...
No, Andy releases content he's not proud of for no money.
No, but I will say this. There's my example is extreme, obviously, not putting out enough stuff.
Right.
But I do think that putting out too much stuff is not good for a comic. It's easy for me to say, but because I haven't put out 20 or 30. I guess the argument that I can see in your eyes, which is a valid argument, is who cares? If you have new material, put it out and everybody...
No, I mean, I think you're misreading my eyes.
I know, I always do, but I thought maybe I got one half right.
I mean, I think there's something to it, you know, and to answer the actual question, I guess it depends on what the paycheck was. But
that's true.
But no, it would never. I don't. You know, I would try not. You know, it took me 32 years to do the first one. So,
and the hypothetical doesn't. The hypothetical doesn't really apply because normally, if they're coming to you for a CD, you kind of want to supply. It's not like you're on a 5 CD deal.
Yeah, but you know, but I do respect the turning over sets thing some too. You know,
I guess
if you really work that. You know, yes, not every hour. It's like you can't, as a comic, you can't decide what material you write. You know?
Well, that's true.
You write what you write, and you hone it on stage, and you keep the stuff that works, and you build an act out of that. But you can't force, you know, sometimes you have to get hour 2 out of your system to get to hour 3, which might be genius again, you know?
Oh, no question. There's no question. But I think the idea that, But I
do think it's an artificial pressure. You know, I think Louis C.K. to some extent probably put that on people.
I think he, like many concepts, he kind of poisoned it because he made such a big deal out of it. And also the way he did it was he would ramp up for these things on an interval, and he would. There's a certain sameness sometimes when these people love you, you're working out your thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Maybe I didn't see the last. I saw one that it seemed.
I don't know. Scattered. There's something kind of cool. Like, well, I mean, Segura is someone who makes a lot of product,
and that is good.
And it is good,
yeah.
and it's impressive to see the speed with which he can, in fact, generate that next hour.
And Gaffigan does it too. I mean, Gaffigan comes up with the stuff. I haven't heard many of the recent albums, but he's busy.
The quality varies, but it's like, you know, when I was on the road with him a couple months ago, this is Segura, you know, he had an hour and a half worth of shit, and he wants to have an hour for the next special. So,
yeah,
I think he's going to get to a darn good hour.
Regardless of what schedule you're on, I'm on a schedule of, besides my errors in putting out things and problems with that, if I'm going to continue playing clubs, I have to change my material, you know, if not all. I mean, I'd love to have a new hour every year, but I have to have at least a flow that people think it's
right.
That it's new. That's what I always think if I go back to anywhere more than once.
I think the other thing that's putting artificial speed on this stuff right now is that there actually currently is a market for recorded material. So there's incentive to put out new product.
That makes sense.
Because that means you'll have more tracks out there making money.
You're going to make money on Sound Exchange. I
guess the thing that I'm hung up on is, someone's, you know, if you're looking at the 3-hour paradigm, hour 2 might not always be as strong.
I think he's just making a comment that sometimes people put out too much stuff for how he feels about them.
Yeah. I think he's right.
And I think that's also just the natural outgrowth. Like Mark Maron does an amazing job of having a podcast and also having people want to see his stand up too. I think it's hard sometimes. The more you're out there, it's I don't know what I'm saying. I give up.
The other thing that influences it is the fact that comics all sell merch now. And so you want, if you go into a market usually once a year.
And that's actually what I'm excited about.
And so, you want to have different merch when you come back to that.
Are you going to have physical ones?
No, I'm not on the road enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. I'll sell them for you along with mine. No,
you won't.
What am I selling? What am I selling them for? We'll talk about it later.
$20.
$20? That's a lot of money. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's the show souvenir.
Show souvenir. I spend time with you. I'll go over your act.
Sign it.
Take a photo.
Otherwise, how is it worth it to take all that shit on the road with you?
No, I don't like. The one thing about stand-up I like was you don't have to have a PA system.
Right. Otherwise, Blameless says, gentlemen, good news. I have freed up some time in my busy schedule to appear on your show. However, I have not freed up enough time to put together a real or a fake in advance of said show. A real or a fake.
Oh, a fake.
Yeah.
Dude, what's this person's name?
Otherwise, Blameless.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Gomar Comer says, Andy, any idea who the performers will be when you host a particular show in Toronto for JFL 42 this September?
I will know
Not J. Elvis Weinstein.
I will know more in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
All right. We'll put a pin in that.
I never liked that put a pin in.
I don't either. Joe Andrus says, if you were on a pro baseball team, what would your walk-up music be when you were up to bat?
Wild Thing, isn't that already taken by in that movie?
Yeah.
It would be probably Nothing But Flowers.
Yeah, mine would be You Can't Fool the Fat Man by Randy Newman.
Mine would be Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
Although I'm a big fan of so maybe that.
Maybe that would be good.
Yeah. Mark Turetsky, I'm way behind, but interesting thing about His Girl Friday, Rosalind Russell's character gets treated as an equal because the movie is an adaptation of the play The Front Page, where her character is a man.
Oh. You put a little English on that read.
Well, no, there was an exclamation
well,
point.
then it makes total sense. Don't italicize if there are no italics.
Nope. Pope Vinocent says, if you were pro athletes or if podcasters wore numbers for some reason, what number would you wear and why? Thanks for this gem of a podcast. Andy's totally a 69 guy.
What's the matter with you? I would like to have, I am not tied to any particular number. 26.
Weirdly enough, 25 would be mine.
Wow.
Just because that was my lucky number as a kid. My proclaimed lucky number. There was nothing to back up the luck.
You just liked it.
I just liked it.
That's cool. But something had to have happened where you went, see, 25 again.
I can't remember anything that made it really, because I don't believe in those sorts of
that we
significance.
Know. We know. Believe me, you're not coming back going, I saw a ghost over at the boathouse.
And there's a perfectly logical explanation for it.
And we'll be back with Simple Solution is the best.
We'll be back with Occam's Razor. Brought to you by Occam's Razor.
The razor that is...
Sometimes shaving's the simplest thing to do. Greg Kelly says, my former father-in-law told me that James Mason wasn't a gifted mimic, but loved to imitate, of all people, Foster Brooks.
That's so weird.
Yes, I'm from Blackburn, Lancashire. Blackburn, Lancashire. Just outside of London.
So much more class to that drunk character with the British accent.
Yes, well, we hold our liquor very well here.
James Mason.
Yes.
I'm James Mason.
I went ice fishing. I brought home what I caught. My wife cooked it up and we nearly drowned.
I didn't hear what you said, but your wife drowned. Something you...
I went ice fishing.
Yes.
I caught 200 pounds of ice.
Oh.
My wife cooked it up. We nearly drowned. How about that?
It's very good. It's very good. But it's a good, I would say good of its kind, like the New York Times used to review.
I hit her with a shovel.
I heard she wouldn't take the poison mushrooms. My first wife, she died from...
SD3.
Ooh, is the Racer's Edge?
Seth Dick III.
SD3.
I was recently on the beach near a mother with a son wearing a hat. I fell asleep. There was a huge commotion. Do you know what happened? Tidal wave, perhaps?
He had a hat. He had a hat. Hey, God, I'll do anything if you bring he had a hat.
Kirk asks, when referring to stand-up, is comic or comedian interchangeable, or is there a difference?
I think there's a woman thing in comedian that's a little, isn't it sexist?
No. Comic and comedian, not comedian.
Right, but is comedian by nature too masculine a word? Then you make...
No.
I'm an idiot, short and stout. Here is my handle, and here is my spout. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't know if women like to be called comedians. Comedianettes?
So. Yeah, that's what they like.
Goobers and raisinets.
As long as you go, this next comic is a woman.
That's what you have to do. Yes. You first go, in case you're wondering, just to get it out of the way, a lady is coming to the stage.
All right. Larry Harold says, Coincidence Theater. Last week while listening to Jay Elvis describe his car breaking down in Chicago on Lakeshore Drive, I was actually walking on Chicago's Lakeshore Drive. What's the most surprising, wildest coincidence you've been a part of?
I can't even talk to you because you're going to just, you dress it down, baby.
I met someone I could name drop at the World's Fair. It's amazing. At the World's Fair.
Harvey Kurtzman, the originator of MAD. What
My dad
odds?
saw someone he knew at the World's Fair. Don't you see? It was the World's Fair.
I was 7 going on 8, and the World's Fair was at the Flushing Meadow Center, where the big thing is now. And I walk in there, and who should I walk into? Harvey Kurtzman. My father was close friends with Harvey Kurtzman. That's not the bother. What are the odds? What are the odds? At the World's Fair. At the World's Fair, for crying out loud.
Guy Incognito says, Jerry Seinfeld invites both of you for some reason on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. What do you mean for some reason?
What did he say?
Jerry Seinfeld invites both of you for some reason.
He likes both of you?
Jerry Seinfeld invites both of you.
Okay, went to Crimea, right?
For some reason on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
That is the most horrible insult to us.
Yeah.
Maybe because we're comedians and we like coffee?
I don't know if this, for some reason, it's us or for some reason he does it together, but either
right,
way, yeah.
Right. I don't think he's invited.
What sort of car does he pick you up in, and what sort of house of pies do you order?
I hope he comes
pie.
I hope he comes in with a Tesla. I don't know anything about cars, but like a jalopy.
Yeah.
Like a kind of an old style jalopy or a Maserati.
He would use the Schlepp car from Wonderbug.
I would like. I wouldn't mind going in the Columbo's car.
Yeah.
He had that crummy car with the cute dog in it. Obviously, I didn't answer the question well.
I don't know what he would pick for me, but it would be inappropriate. Guy Cognito also says, I know TED Talks are passé at this point. However, have you heard the one that Joseph Mengele gave on Bitcoin?
Wait a second. He already sells the bit out. I didn't hear that. That sounds intriguing to me.
Well, my friends, today we're talking about cryptocurrencies. But first, I'd like you to meet my young friend, Bobby.
See? You got to save it. You save it.
Bobby. Now, just to refresh my memory, is Bobby Hitler's grandson or his son?
No, he's his clone of Hitler.
Why is he called Bobby?
Because he's
hiding
it, yes.
He's a clone of... So he's going to grow up to look like the other Hitler?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Can't you tell from his crazy eyes?
Yeah, but when you clone someone, they grow up that way? Don't even talk to me anymore. When they clone like Dolly the thing, does Dolly get older as a thing?
Yeah.
It's disgusting. The whole thing's disgusting to me. Could I clone myself?
Theoretically.
And then I have to look at one of my own mug. How you doing, Andy? How you doing, Andy?
It doesn't come out as you at 63.
It doesn't?
No.
It comes out with me as a kid?
You as a baby, and then you grow up into Hitler.
Meh. I would get to see how I was whiny all over again.
Yes. Or you could do some fixing.
Oh, it doesn't sound right.
You'd fuck it up.
I'm going to have my head frozen for sure.
For sure. But like 6 months after you're dead.
They've never tried that before. 6 months after I'm dead. Now that's a challenge.
It's cheaper.
It's
just a hobby.
You know what I do? I freeze the heads of my friends after they die. Do you wait till they're defrosted? No, it's just a hobby.
Caesar Romero says in TS 119, the thought of Andy on his deathbed and Josh putting his hand in a bowl of warm water had me chuckling all day.
That gets me going now. It's a very funny image. Because the funniest thing in the world would be is right before I die is for you to do that prank.
Yes.
How was he? Because you're telling my wife, right? I put his hand in warm water. Unbelievable. Works like clockwork. That would work after I had my appendix out because they want you to be able to pee. And I couldn't pee. They should have put my...
They should have. You needed an older brother in the room.
They actually told me at one point that they're gonna do something. Like put something in to take it out.
Catheter.
Oh, God. You know, for years, I didn't know that the sandpaper catheter wasn't comfortable. I thought I only had the choice between the sandpaper catheter and the glass catheter.
And the spiky straw.
But now in fact, you know how happy I am? I'm going to do a loop-de-loop in my plane, and I'm going to show you one of my catheters.
I'm peeing while I'm loop-de-looping. And had I not called this number, I'd still be doing loop-de-loops with spiky catheter.
For 20 years, I thought the guy...
flying upside down to dump the urine out of my plane.
For 20 years, I thought the only way that I could use a catheter was the guy who sold it door-to-door used catheters. And then I find out there's different kinds. Thank you, Catheter Exchange.
Screw you, neighbor kid with catheters trying to raise money for your Cub Scout chapter. I'm going up a notch.
The comfortable catheter, the uncomfortable catheter, and the woo-hoo-hoo, that hurts catheter. Oh, my God, I think I sliced my penis off. Catheter. I'm getting blue.
Dip, 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 dip. Kenny Loggins the third has a little question for you.
Kenny Loggins the third.
Actually, he doesn't have a question. Specifically, he says no question tonight.
I love
Just want to take the opportunity to officially induct Andy into the third club. Now I dub thee Andy Kindler the third.
I love it.
Congrats on your accomplishment. A complimentary ham is in the mail.
Oh, my God, I'm honored.
That's very nice.
I wonder if it skips generations, though.
It does, because there's no junior.
I wouldn't have been good in one of those bands.
Do you want to do a couple letters? Just because
Sure.
we've neglected a lot?
The rusty catheter. I used the rusty catheter for years.
James Simonera. Hi, guys. I've never missed an episode of the show from day one, and I have never missed there not being a guest on the show. But I was really pleased to see you have a first guest on, because variety is the spice of life.
Is it spicy?
A guest changes the nature and the flow of the show, and even how you both interact with each other, but it was interesting, and each guest would bring something different, because each person would be different. I am not recommending that you have guests on every show, but that you consider doing it every once in a while. It was and will be interesting. I think you both know a lot of interesting people in the entertainment business, and Andy's take on things they might bring up. And off the top of his head and Andy's take on things they might bring up and off the top of his head are always hilarious. I liked it. Thanks for trying it. Hope it went well for you guys, too.
I agree 100% with the feedback. I think it's something we should do every once in a while, for sure.
Sure. Fair enough.
Yeah, because every time we do it, it's got to mean something. No, but I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Steven asks, Josh, whenever a movie or show won an award, I always wondered this. How do people in the industry tell apart the writing from the acting, the directing, etc.? aren't films sort of a three-legged stool in that respect? I mean, I understand how to tell the lighting or cinematography apart from the other aspects, but acting, writing, and directing seem hopelessly merged to me. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely intermingled, but there are things that can stand out about each, you know. But part of the director's job is to get the performance out of the actor. So you can often blame the director for an actor's wrong choices that you're seeing, you know.
Right.
But
depends on the editing too.
Yeah, but you can tell I can tell if a good acting performance, you know, even though a director had something to do with assembling that from a bunch of different takes.
Yeah.
You certainly can tell when you're feeling the acting and when you're not.
Sure.
And I mean that in a bad way, feeling the acting.
Yeah.
The writing, you know if you're hearing dialogue you haven't heard before, or if you know if you're seeing a story you haven't seen before, and you know when you're feeling an original idea.
Right.
And those are all the things that...
I mean, I think the one point, though, is that, and I don't know if you can even separate the cinematography, that when a movie is great and it is made from people all getting together, it can lift everybody's skills.
Yeah, it's the harmony of all those things that make great movies, for sure. But
so, like, we know who are great actors by their life work, too.
Right.
You know?
A great actor can't make a shitty script good.
True.
You know? And a great director can't make a shitty script good. You can make a good, you can make a bad movie from a good script, but you can't really make a good movie from a bad script.
Right. And also,
which seems pretty self-evident.
Well, also, like I always think about Cuckoo's Nest, that he wanted, because I love Ken Kesey, he wanted the Cuckoo's Nest to be directed a certain way, but I actually think it was directed brilliantly. The way he wanted was more on the Native American voice. But
and both of them might have been right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like there could have been a version that Kesey, there could have been a great version of Kesey's way too.
True.
It's all about how it gets shepherded through the process. But and if someone has a vision that's guiding this thing, that everything is being measured against.
Yeah.
And that's the director's job.
He didn't like the movie, but I think it's too hard when you're like, I heard Toni Morrison talking about how when she had one of her movies were finally made, she didn't give rights to a lot of movies, but when she did Beloved or something like that, and she was saying that she pitched things for the movie, but then she realized that what she pitched was not cinematic. Right. So like a lot of the things that she wanted as backstories or to be part of it, you just can't show in a movie. That's why the movie has to be different.
That's the thing, and there's so many authors who've been crushed by the movie versions of what they did, but that is the difference between a book and a movie, is ultimately it's a different form of storytelling.
Yeah.
And you can convey so much more information in such a shorter time in a movie.
So I feel like in Cuckoo's Nest, he got the same feel from that movie and that the book had,
Right. But there's an example of where the acting was crucial to that all working.
Yes.
Because you had all these people playing these, potentially giant characters and having, both a great set of actors to rein in and make those mania believable.
And one of the all-time great villains.
A great villain, but because of great acting choices.
Yeah, she was great, Louise Fletcher.
And, but it's a great, it was Foreman that did that movie, right?
Yeah, it was. He did an amazing
and so
job.
Foreman obviously had a mastery of tone that overrid that whole movie.
He did,
that overrode that whole movie, Aaron says, Dear Josh and Andy, first time, long time, and your friendly Reddit mod here. Oh, hi. It's 65 degrees in downtown London at 12 noon on Monday, and no show. We're no good.
See?
Hope everything's all right. Big fan as always, and keep it salty. Wait, that doesn't sound right. What was it again?
Keep it spicy.
Nah. See, he gets you.
That's cool, though. It's amazing to know that there were 15 to 25 people who were disconsolate and around the world, worldwide. We threw the world off its axis.
Paul Michael Bailey also wrote in, last week, Test Show 118, the very first guest. This week, no show. My very first Monday in 2 years without Josh and Andy. I guess the test is finally over.
Wow.
People were just really hurting.
It makes me happy that they're hurting.
While I slept.
Well, not happy, but you know what I'm saying.
David says, I'm hoping that you can settle this please once and for all. Which is better, the original George of the Jungle theme song from the 60s cartoon or the cover version in the closing credits of George of the Jungle movie performed by the presidents of the United States of America? Thanks.
I don't remember. I'd like to hear them side by side, and I haven't.
I'm going to throw Weird Al's version in there as well.
What was his version?
His was the cover of George of the Jungle theme.
I don't.
George of the Jungle, friend to you and me. Ah, watch out for that tree.
So it wasn't like a parody? It was
No, it was just a cover.
Unbelievable. It's amazing. I love that. I love George.
So I'm going to go the original regardless. And I even like the presidents of the United States of America, though I thought their career would be longer.
Yeah, I thought they had a little energy going.
Robert says, Josh, when Henri Dalmont brought up It's a Wonderful Life, how hard was it to resist going into a Mr. Potter impression? It was kind of hard.
When who brought it up?
Henri Dalmont. He was the French photographer, Holocaust survivor guy we interviewed on the other show.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, because you don't remember things we talked about before.
Huh?
Exactly.
Boy, it's a lot of anger, a lot of rage here.
No rage.
Just disappointment.
Slow burn. Slow burn.
Slow burn in 102.
I'm tired of reading. I think let's call that a show.
Yeah, why not, right? We can't get to everybody's questions. We're not here just to answer your questions. We're not sure why we're here, but we know it's not just for that. And I hope you enjoyed our separate questions, which were on a completely different track this week. Very exciting.
We did run out of batteries at one point during this question thing, so we had to.
And we saw that we both can go down the dark road. Now, I said, I bet the thing saves periodically while it's recording. And you said, I hope so. Because I didn't know.
All right.
That would be terrible if it waits to save. Why is it waiting around to save?
I don't know.
Because of that moment where it goes. This show was brought to you by rechargeable batteries. When you're not really sure if they're going to work,
Exactly.
It's rechargeable batteries.
We're going back to store-boughts next week.
Hey, do you have something you're taping that you're not concerned about losing? Try rechargeable batteries.
Hey, get yourself acquainted with my album, Chunks.
Yes, it was voted number 3. And don't forget to download, what else? Anything else? My album is coming out soon.
Is it? Any plans on that?
Soon.
Okay.
Oh, I will be in Toronto in September.
Okay.
Is it near September
At JFL?
yet? Yeah, is it near September yet?
It's getting there.
All right. Don't forget to send us a thing. Go to Zazzle. Razzle dazzle. Also, if you can figure out how to end the show, send us some suggestions for that. We'll take them. But don't make the suggestions.
We won't use them, but we'll take them.
We'll take them. And don't say, maybe James Mason, thinking he's Gregory Peck, should end the show.
Oh my God, I'm Dr. Joseph Mengele.
I'll take it.